It's that time of year again. We have the greatest Disney Star Wars thing since the last greatest Disney Star Wars thing. Everyone celebrate. Star Wars is saved. All the haters can eat crow and finally admit that Kathleen Kennedy does, in fact, know what she's doing. Never mind all the flack this show caught before it came out. The horrible interviews from cast members and show creators demonstrating that they know next to nothing about Star Wars. The fact that the show was canceled before it was released, or that the review embargo was in place until the morning the show was released. This is the show that will vindicate all the creators behind Disney Star Wars. Okay, maybe not. This show has been nearly universally panned by even some of the most ardent supporters of the mainstream media complex, though there will always be those willing to shill for a Disney Star Wars property. With a quarter of the show's 8 episodes released on day one, we should have a good sense of what the show will be about. Let's discuss it and see if we can't figure out just what went wrong here. As a disclaimer, this show will make a lot more sense if you remember Disney Star Wars cardinal rule number 1. All females are awesome, capable, and determined, and all males are either stupid, incompetent, completely supportive of female characters, or evil, or some combination thereof. We are given the brief setup for the show in a short text screen. 100 years before the rise of the Empire, the Republic and the Jedi rule, but there are those who learn the Force in secret, and one of them is an assassin. From there, we are introduced to May, a dark side user who has emerged from the shadows to exercise her revenge against Endara, a Jedi Master played by Carrie-Anne Moss. Enjoy this time with Carrie-Anne because it's all we're going to get of her, despite her prominent place in the marketing. The two descend into a fight in a cantina. The choreography is bad, though not Marvel's Echo bad, and utilizes slow motion in an obvious attempt to reference The Matrix. Despite Endara's clear edge and skill, the young assassin is able to kill her. We cut directly to Osha, played by the same actress who plays May, revealing the show's worst-kept secret. This is a story about twins, one good, one bad. The sisters were stationed in a temple where a tragedy occurred, leaving the Jedi to assume that May had been killed. Osha is a mechanic working on starship repairs, performing dangerous maintenance on the outside of starships in space, where fire can apparently burn without oxygen. Two Jedi, Yord Fandar and Tassi Loa, arrive to arrest Osha for the murder, despite her claims of innocence. Instead of transporting this highly dangerous prisoner on their own ship, the Jedi place her on a regular prison ship, which crashes after the prisoners stage a break. While there, she receives a vision of her twin and deduces that it was she who killed Endara. Back on Coruscant, we see Jedi Master Sol instructing a group of young Padawans, when his lesson is interrupted by Vernestra Roja, played by showrunner Leslie Headland's wife, to tell him about Osha's role in Endara's death. Later, after the prison break, Sol is summoned by Vernestra to interview the escaped prisoners, where they learn that she went down with the ship. Sol volunteers to lead the mission to find Osha on the planet and bring her back. Sol's team, containing Yord and Tassi, arrive on the planet, and he confronts Osha in a scene clearly meant to reference the fugitive. She explains her theory, and he accepts it. May meets her master, who challenges her to kill a Jedi Master without a weapon. Episode 2 begins with May attacking a Jedi Master, Torben, who has been meditating for over a decade on Olega. She is unable to touch him due to the Master's command of the Force. Vernestra tells Sol about the infiltration of the temple on Olega, reasoning that Osha could not have been on Olega and with Sol at the same time. She sends Sol's team to investigate. Meanwhile, May meets her supplier, Kamir, who has taken over the apothecary establishment and provides her with a poison to use against Torben. May returns to Torben and offers him the poison as a form of absolution of a past offense against her, which Torben takes and dies. Sol's team goes to the conveniently located apothecary and are told by a local that Kamir is not the normal operator of the shop. They deduce that he must be May's accomplice, and Osha goes in undercover to see what they can learn. He admits to giving her the poison and inadvertently reveals that May has a master, and that this master has given her a mission: kill 4 Jedi Masters that were stationed at the temple where she was presumed dead. The Jedi move in and interrogate him in exchange for being released with a warning. He tells them all he knows and that May will be returning that evening. The Jedi set a trap for her, in which May attacks Sol without a weapon. May learns that Osha is alive and escapes. She attacks Kamir for betraying her, but he offers to get her off planet and reveals the location of one of her targets, the Wookiee Jedi Kelnaka. In short, this is not a good show. It has all the hallmarks of what has become a disturbing pattern for these Disney Star Wars streaming shows. Boring, one-note predictable characters, simplistic plots filled with coincidental and contrived mystery, and lots of long takes where nothing of substance happens to pad out the running time. This show has all of it. The characters follow the Disney Star Wars cardinal rule number 1 to a T. All the female characters are strong, capable fighters who figure everything out nearly instantly and are technically proficient. The men are either stupid, like Ord, evil, like Khmer, or fully supportive of female characters, like Soul. It also falls victim to Disney Star Wars cardinal rule number 2, simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. A case of mistaken identity due to twins? The good twin receives a Force vision revealing the truth. She tells this to the Jedi sent to capture her, and he instantly believes her. Is there a Jedi that has been meditating for over a decade, as idiotic and nonsensical as that is, and can't be touched? Voila! A magic poison and guilt to the rescue. Someone poisoned? The only apothecary on the planet is right down the street, and here comes the guy that gave May the poison. Everything is a contrived, coincidental, one-dimensional mess. It's a stupid show made by stupid people. The plot is simultaneously overly complicated and bafflingly simple. For example, consider the poisoning of Master Torban. May attempts to kill Torban, but she is unable to penetrate his Force meditation shield. Luckily, her supplier has already taken over the apothecary shop and has a poison she'll need to kill the Master. How did he know she would need this poison to kill the Master? Because something had to happen in the show. Why didn't he give her the poison before she went into the temple? Because time had to be filled. Why doesn't Khmer run once he delivers the poison? Because the plot needed to progress, and the writers didn't know how to do this without the protagonist stumbling upon him and having him spill his guts. It's manufactured incidents disguised as a coherent story. There's an old adage that a story can only go as far as its writer. People who are not smart cannot write smart characters. Simple people cannot write complex stories. People with no experience outside of being students at liberal universities and working in Hollywood their entire lives cannot write about genuine conflict and truly layered morality. The accusation has been made that Hollywood now hires based upon outward characteristics, using a checklist to maximize intersectionality, and this show substantiates that accusation perfectly. We are a quarter of the way through the show, and it has somehow fallen short of the already low bar many were expecting. Those who have seen more of the show at this point have made some disturbing claims about what the show has in store for us. I look forward to it with bated breath. Have you seen The Acolyte? What did you think of it? Thanks for watching.